Even though Destro Warlocks have been considered the backup option for Warlock specs in Shadowlands, the upcoming Affliction nerf, as well as Destro getting slightly buffed earlier in the expansion, has made it a viable option for many players again. In this video, we'll be going over how you can fine-tune your Destro lock by choosing the right covenant, the correct soulbinds for both PvP and PvE, and which conduits you should be looking for in each case. My name is Ivona, and if we're meeting for the first time, you really want to press that sub button, as I do a bunch of simple WoW guides for classes, dungeons, raids, and collectibles, and you don't want to miss those. When it comes to the covenant choice, in Destro's case, this is a bit more difficult to decide upon than with Affliction Warlock. I recently made a similar guide for Affliction as well, so you can check that one out for more info. In this particular case, Destro is quite strong in Kyrian, Night Fae, and Necrolord Covenant, depending on what you want to do. If you want to be raiding, you most likely want to join Necrolord and pick Bonesmith Harrowmere as your soulbind. If you like Mythic Plus, Kyrian is a strong choice with Kalia as your soulbind. However, if you decide to go for Night Fae and choose Nia as your soulbind, you'll be quite good in a raid group, in the Mythic Plus, and even in Thorghast if that's something you like or need to do. When it comes to PvP, you'll also do quite well with Night Fae, although Kyrian is another one to consider due to File of Serenity and some cool conduits. This is why we'll be covering Night Fae as your chosen covenant, along with the soulbinds and conduits, and if you're in a different covenant and have some questions, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. When it comes to both PvP and PvE, as I previously mentioned, your best bet these days is Nia, as the full Soulbind Tree has now been unlocked and you're able to access the last row's OP powers. The conduit choice here is to be taken with a grain of salt, as this is largely going to depend on what you like to do, so not everyone's going to want to have these. However, I've chosen to showcase an example of what it would look like if your main PvE content was Mythic Plus, as that's kind of what most people end up doing at some point. If you're a raider, some of these options will be useless to you, and that's okay, but Nia's Soulbind Tree should be the way I'll show you. For PvP, you'll be looking at the exact same tree, but the conduits are going to be different. I'll be talking about the basic powers first, that are applied for both PvP and PvE, and the specific conduits second, as they can and should be swapped depending on what you want to do. Nia's Soulbind Tree has a great starting ability, the Grove Invigoration, which increases your HP and grants you additional mastery, and as you use your covenant abilities, the percentage increases, so do use them. From there, you want to go left into the tree to get the Round Without Tiring ability, which regenerates your health whenever you're in your soul shape form. Next, you want to cross over to the right into the Swift Patrol, which increases your movement speed every time you beat an enemy, which is a good addition for timed Mythic Pluses and in any PvP environment. In this case, you want to finish your Soulbind Tree with the middle power, Nia's Tool's Poison. This deals additional damage to all the enemies you interrupt, and as that's one of your main tasks when it comes to Mythic Plus, your interrupt spells will get a new purpose as well. In Arena or Battlegrounds, you'll most likely end up interrupting someone at some point, so this Soulbind power applies for both scenarios. When it comes to PvE conduits, I'll only mention the best ones for Mythic Plus environment, and it doesn't matter where in the tree you position them. The first one is a Duplicitous Havoc, which is a potency conduit that's very good on your multiple targets in dungeons. It deals additional Havoc damage, and you can get this conduit from Mistcaller and Mists of Tyrannusite, or Skald Vit in Ardenweald as a lower tier option. The next conduit you want to get is the finesse one called Fell Celerity, reducing the cooldown on Fell Domination, and you can get it from Sludgefist, Dahanta, or Warbringer Malkorak. If you're swapping your pets often and between the bosses and trash mobs, this is a good one for you. Another one you want to get is the Diabolic Bloodstone, which you'll get either from General Khal or Rotbriar Buggard in Ardenweald. As everyone in your group is most likely using Hellstones, I mean I hope they do, you'll get a bit of leech bonus from it, so remind your friends to eat their stones often. Finally, we've got Ashen Remains, which you'll get from Executor Tarwold in Sagwain Depths, or from Indomitable Schmidt in Maldraxxus. This one is just a flat out increase to your damage output, and you'll find it most useful in your boss fights, as they take a little bit longer. Now let's move on to PvP conduits, and the first one you want is Combusting Engine. You'll get this one from Kultharok in Theater of Pain only, and it's a good single target damage buffing little thing that'll help you essentially win faster in Arena, but it's fine in Battlegrounds too, as long as you focus mostly on single targets. Next up is the Shade of Terror conduit, dropped by Shriekwing, as that helps you deal more damage before your enemy's fear breaks. You also want to get the Razzled Barrier, which is an endurance conduit dropped by Lady Enerva Darkbane or Rootwith in Ardenweald. This one reduces the cooldown of Unending Resolve, which is one of your most important defensive cooldowns, so we definitely need that in PvP. And as the last one, Ashen Remains is a pretty good option to keep in both PvP and PvE, so here's a conduit you won't be swapping out too often if you're doing both things. And that's pretty much it for all your PvP and PvE conduit stuff. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so leave them in the comments comments, and if you enjoyed the video, leave it a like so more people can find it. If you'd like to become a member of the channel and unlock more awesome content, you can do so by pressing that join button, but if not, smash the sub button next to it, as you'll be seeing more super simple WoW guides you'll love. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.